Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome along to the Rovers Rant podcast, where we discuss everything red and white, everything Robins related, and indeed much else besides, eventually, in the rugby league world. And post-Vegas this week, I have stuck pins in a few dolls, torn down a few shrines, urinated on a few old shirts. I've got everything out of my system, all right? I've I've shouted at the heavens, and I have slowly but surely forgiven Hull Kingston Rovers, forgiven our formerly magnificent side for slightly embarrassing us on the highest and most prominent of all perches. I have, as I say, slowly drawn back on some of my sharpest criticisms. All right, I've yielded, and there is a steady equilibrium with me now, and that has been helped by a good few of you in the comments section. A few Leeds fans assuring me and indeed many other Robins that we'll be all right eventually, and that we'll get things together. And that's been very, very nice. So thank you for your comments. Do keep them coming. I pride myself on replying pretty much within the hour. But today I have a predictions video for you. And they're good fun predictions, are they not? Despite how often foolish they are. And how, what should we say, how weak they are and how impossible virtually they are, especially at the moment, given how jumbled the league is and given that, you know, Toulouse have won 2 matches, have they? And Bradford have won two matches, and York have won 2 matches, and the Lee Leopards are being stuck everywhere, and we're still holding up the league in 14th place. So, you know, it's topsy-turvy. It's all rather mixed, and so every match seems to be a sort of cyclone of possibilities. You really do not know, which again is great for Sky Sports and great for people trying to sell the show, but it's not great for content creators such as myself, who pride themselves on a little bit of clairvoyance, a little bit of perspicacity, a little bit of knowledge. We have no knowledge at the moment because we have no knowledge base, because we haven't got as large a data set as we should have. The consistency's out the window, form books are flapping away, yeah, it's all rather tough. But nonetheless, I am here as your loyal public servant, your friendly neighbourhood rugby league chatterer, to call out some games. I'm not really going to focus on Rovers versus Huddersfield. I'll dedicate an entire video to that as usual. I'll isolate it, I'll bracket it, and given that it's placed so kindly to us, so fortuitously on Sunday afternoon, I'll be in your algorithmic faces come Sunday morning with a little bit of a bleat about what I think will happen at what was once known as the John Smith Stadium. Some good memories at that ground, have we not? But the other matches we'll go into now. And the first is of supreme interest. That's tonight at 8 p.m. at the, again, the Wakefield ground. Is it called the DIY Kitchen still? Could be. They change. They change sponsorship names at certain rugby league grounds the same way that most people, change car insurance suppliers. So we have Wakefield versus Hull FC at 8 p.m. and this could be delightful, couldn't it? Last week we saw in defeat Hull FC lose Aidan Caesar. He took a digit to the blinker. He took one to the eye and complained of blurred vision. Was frog marched down the tunnel and then returned to throw passes to no one. He was throwing phase balls between players rather than straight into the breadbasket. And I saw, along with news of course, Liam Knight's departure and Harvey Barron's absence for this week, that Caesar is a sort of a major worry, a major doubt. It seemed from from Coach Cartwright's testimony, from his words, that even if he does play, Caesar's hardly likely to be at full visionary fitness. He's not going to have his full field of vision on him. Poor fella, don't we feel for him? And so, with all that in mind, no Liam Knight, no Jed Cartwright, of course. He's pulled up, and he is just awfully injury prone, poor fella. With all that in mind, with all those players out, and with Wakefield being so pyrrhic in loss last week at the Halliwell Jones against Wallington, given what they showed, I am tipping Wakefield to do the Codheads over, which would be great, wouldn't it? A great way to start our weekend. Please, Trinity, do us a favour, because It's been quite hard on social media this week, hasn't it? I've noticed that the bayonets have been sharpened against Rovers. I try not to obsess over Instagram commentary. I try not to be deluged by the kind of incentivized negativity of it all of the tomatoes thrown at us while we have our brief time in the stocks. It's not been nice, and a few of the black and whites have been gloating, despite being speared by a promoted side last week. And so it would be nice if the Trin could knock them down even further. That would be great, wouldn't it? And it's going to be. I think it's going to be probably going to be a nice night at Wakefield, and they like to play some expansive rugby. For whom is that not true? Quick rucks and whatnot. So Hull FC have some notable absentees. Wakefield do not, I don't believe, and so I have Wakefield by a good 2 scores, 20 points to 10. There you go. Then on the Friday night at 8 p.m, we have the York Knights versus the Warrington Wolves. We've seen that York. Again, I'm trying to pull something out here when, as I said before, we don't really have enough information at our behest. But we've seen in the three quizzical games that they've put on so far that York do the tough stuff quite well and enjoy embroiling certain teams into a bar fight almost. They like to throw ashtrays about and whatnot, and they like to make it a little bit seedy and a little bit dirty and whatnot. And I fear that Warrington won't be drawn into that. And when a good side do turn up against them and are allowed to play in a flowery style, we saw what happened at Headingley. They were completely torn apart, and I fear the same will happen. They can be forgiven for downing a few ales after beating FC last week and after posting their second win of the season. I just sense that they'll switch off. Again, that could be that could turn out to be the utmost rubbish. I've got Warrington by 3 scores here. What should we say? 32 points to, or maybe not 3 scores. 32 points to 16. There you go. I sense Warrington will double York's score. Then at the same time, over in the what do you call it? The Leopard's Lair. It's Lee versus the Catalan Dragons. Again, 2 sides that are stuttering, 2 sides that take 1 step forward and 2 steps back, 2 sides that were given something of a drubbing last week. Lee went to the Brick Community Stadium and had their rear hinds, their rear sides handed to them, and Catalan were well beaten by St Helens, I think. And so, again, what the hell am I supposed to think? Lee were half decent against St Helens, but edged out. They looked quite good against Leeds, but then you have to factor in the obvious fact that Leeds barely had a player on the park, and so that victory is sort of grade by statistical anomaly. And so, I mean, this is completely ridiculous. I have no idea. Lee are at home. They have a hell of a crowd. Tessie New might get going. Lee to win in a 1-point drop goal, golden point thriller by 19 points to 18. There you go. On the Saturday, on the 7th of March at 5 o'clock, we have, in the warm enclaves of southern France, we have Toulouse versus Wigan. Now, Toulouse, having been beaten by Bradford last week and having been beaten pretty ignominiously, having offered not much, again, the straightforward traditional analysis would be that Wigan turn up, having brushed Lee aside and win by loads and loads, and yet that hasn't happened, really. Whenever a result has seemed certain, the underdogs have chinned the superior, again, you can see me huffing and puffing. I suppose it's good for the numbers, that for the general numbers of Super League, that nobody knows who's going to win and when, who's going to brown their nappies and when. But for us folk who like to give a scoreline every now and then, it's bloody impossible. I can't really see past Wigan here. They've started well. They're not the sort of side to be crippled too easily, even by a lengthy travel and an awkward timing. They've had a good time to rest. Wigan by 4 scores, 30 points to 10. There you go. Next up, we have again at the same, one of those matches that takes place half an hour after another one, which means that at half time of the first match, you can tune into the second match, which is pretty good work. St Helens versus Bradford. Again, St Helens added Alex Walmsley to their interminable injury list. You have now Alex Walmsley, Matty Lees, Nenny McDonald, Johnny Lomax, and Jack Wellesby all out, which is a real problem. Okay, you can be the deepest side in the Super League, and yet losing 5 players can completely corrupt your season, and I fear that will be the case for St Helens. Although who knows how well Bradford will travel again? Both sides have 2 points. Oh, sorry, both sides have 4 points. So. Gosh, this is, I'm panting away, but this is extraordinary. I'd back St Helens to get it done. Jackson Hastings with a little bit of space. Again, St Helens playing on their own patch. Bradford seem not to travel well. I've no idea, really. I've no idea. I'm even tempted to leave that blank. So empty is my mind on this topic. But we'll go with tradition. We'll go with no, we won't. We'll shoot tradition in the foot and go with Bradford by 2 points, by 16 points to 14. There you go. Next up, we have on the Sunday at 3 o'clock the Leeds Rhinos versus the Castleford Tigers. Lots of talk about a Yorkshire derby here. I didn't know that there was such strong and inflamed feeling between the Rhinos and the Tigers. But again, they were pretty flawless, weren't they? Leeds, as we saw, 2 Rovers in just to our eternal detriment at Las Vegas. Leeds were very, very good. They've had to travel back, and there's going to be a little bit of double jet lag, having crossed 7 time zones in 7 days. But Castleford are pretty poor just now. And yeah, you sense Leeds will not be at their best, but that they will get it done. And so, yeah, we'll go, again, home crowd. There'll be a kind of joyous reunion between Leeds players and those who weren't able to fork out $5,000 to go and see them in Nevada. And so we'll have Leeds winning eventually, winning late maybe, where one of those games that's pretty equal. Cass are unlikely to give up, given that they're fighting against a close neighbour. The sort of game where Connor and Croft and Miller just do a disservice to the general momentum of the match by pumping Leeds up on the scoreboard. A few late tries, which sort of belies the general grudge match. And so Leeds by 3, but only from the 72nd minute onwards. So Leeds 26, Castleford 12, something like that. And then, lastly, we have the Huddersfield Giants versus Hull Kingston Rovers. Now, if we don't get this together, then like every individual, like every zillennial with a short attention span, I am going to call for the single most intelligent Hull Kingston Rovers coach ever to walk through the door to be sacked. Okay, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was floating a petition for a bronze statue outside Sewell Group Craven Park, and now I will be calling for his head. If we don't win, if the team that I support is not victorious, then I'm going to throw my toys clean from the pram, and I'm going to call for Willie Peters' sacking. Again, we've crossed all the time zones, usual caveats. The one thing that I will say is that there has always been a stern response whenever we've put up a bad showing in a previous game. I can't recall 2 consecutive bad matches under Willie Peters' purview, and so yeah, you'd back us to turn up. And again, I saw an injury list for Huddersfield this week, and it amounted to a proper team that are, instead of lacing up every Sunday, are instead track-suited on the sidelines. As I said earlier in the video, some very fond memories at what was the John Smiths and is now named something else. It'll feel like a home match because we'll take 2,000 to 3,000, and Huddersfield will have 4 blokes and their grandmothers in as per usual, and there'll be that bloke who bangs the tin can. Again, it would be easy for the Rovers of 2025 would run in 4 or 5 scores, and it would be simple, and we'd all be applauding like Mongolian emperors, thinking ha ha ha, we're brilliant and the best, and yet we could be pulled into an ass tightening tie, an ass clamping tie. I hope not, but yeah, you'd imagine that Lewis will really gallop along, and though we don't have Morg, that Broadbent will do his job, and that everybody will be fired up and angry and wanting to simply put points on the board, because if not, then the chase really will be on, in Bradley Walsh's memorable words. And so yeah, we have to get this done, otherwise it will become both a mental malaise as well as a physical one. So Rovers by 3 scores eventually, rather like with Leeds and Castleford. But who knows, if the Giants do indeed step on us, then I think we're in for a long 2026. So yeah, those are my shaky predictions for round. What is it? Is it round 3 or is it round 4? God knows. You can see that I'm all at sea this morning. Yeah, those are my predictions. Please do let me know how you think each tie will go. Whether you think Wakefield will do a number on FC, as we're all hoping for. Whether you think that maybe there might be something in the French onion soup for the Wigan Warriors against Toulouse, and maybe Castleford can just continue on with this sort of stat smashing season that we have and beat the Leeds Rhinos. Who knows? So there we go. Yeah, those are a load of Super League matches that are taking place. Yeah, please let me know how you feel everything will go. And that is me for now, folks. So I have been, as ever, Joe Spivey, and this has been the Rovers Rant podcast, and there will be, yeah, a self-indulgent response video, or rather a self-indulgent response video tomorrow, should Hull FC fall at another hurdle. So yes, I will, as per usual, thank you ever so much for watching, and see you again on the internet soon.